When it comes to love, intimacy, and the art of building strong relationships, today's guest has been guiding people with wisdom and compassion for over 4 decades. Today, I'm joined by the esteemed Vivian Baruch, a relationship coach, counselor, psychotherapist, accredited sex therapist, and a clinical supervisor with more than 4 decades of experience. Since the 1980s, Vivian has been supported by both singles and couples across heterosexual and LGBTIQ+ communities to navigate challenges and create thriving, healthy relationships. Her passion is helping people transform painful patterns into fulfilling connections, and she brings a rare blend of deep therapeutic skill and evidence-based practice. For the past 21 years, Vivian has even tracked client outcomes through feedback-informed treatment, ensuring her work is not only heartfelt, but also measurably effective. I'm especially excited to have Vivian on today because she was the one who helped my now wife, Alice, get relationship ready to ask me out and eventually marry me. So this conversation for me feels extra close to my heart. And I knew I really wanted you on the show, Vivian, because Alice, seriously, she sings your praises endlessly. So thank you and welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you. And thank you, Alice.
It's so good. Well, I want to jump into this because this is a big one. Relationships are huge, and especially at this time in our life. So, thinking about single women out there, how can they rebuild confidence and open themselves back to being open for love? Kind of, I guess, like you did with Alice, because even I know so many strong, confident women who tend to find partners who are intimidated by them and are giving up. So like
Right.
a single woman now, this kind of age,
Yeah.
how do they get ready to get their confidence back?
Okay. Well, for once, don't give up. That's what you start with. Don't give up. If you have somehow or other some sense of belief that you're worthy of a relationship, you deserve a relationship, and that there is somebody out there for you, you've just got to keep trying. I mean, so many of the experts in the field say it's a numbers game, so you've got to keep trying. You've got to get there's some skills that we have to get lined up for ourselves and to get clear about in our heads when we're getting ourselves ready to get back into a relationship. And they're teachable and learnable skills. And if you practice them and take that really seriously, that the choice of a partner is the single most important choice that we ever make in our lives. It's really important. And we spend so much time building our careers, getting ourselves ready for parenting, making contacts in our work world, studying, getting different credentials. We put a lot of time, effort, and energy and money into that. Years. We don't put years and time into getting ourselves ready for a relationship. So it requires some of the same skills and some very different skills.
So if there was one skill or one thought process as a starting place, apart from still holding hope, which is so huge,
Yeah.
I understand it.
Yeah.
I went through a block of, oh, fuck, it's too hard.
Absolutely. And it's not just a moment. I mean, I was single myself from, I think, late 40s for about 7 years or so, went through the whole process myself. So we don't just have a moment, we have many moments when we go, this is all too hard, and we give up, and I'd rather be by myself. So that's the first step, really. We have to look at, are we secretly ambivalent on some level? So there's an exercise to do, and I've got it described in I've got a little ebook for each of these sections there. The steps are all in the ebook, but the first step in the Stop Being Single book is look at what you might be secretly ambivalent about. So there's little exercises to go through there. I set an exercise at the beginning for you to do before you start reading the book, to write down all the reasons why it's hard to get into a relationship. We just got to do a dump and get it all out there and say, this is why, and there's no good people out there, no matter what sex or gender or identity or what have you. We got to get it all out there and look at it, right? And then you start reading the book. And the second part about it is ignore all the negativity that's out there in the world, online, in the media. in books. We're not a statistic. You, me, every person watching this is a unique individual. And just because, I mean, I've got a little example in the book that says if we live in a city where there's, let's say, 7 million people and half of them are looking for a relationship and they're single, and the other half are in a relationship or they're not looking or what have you, the stats don't look good. Ignore the stats, right? We've
Yeah.
got to go, I'm me. All I need is one person, not a whole line of people, one person that will be a good enough fit for me. So after we look at getting very clear on what our own ambivalence is ignore all the negativity out there and go, look, I think as one of my trainers in the past says, look, think of it like catching a train. You go to the station and there's all these trains going in and out, in and out. Some of them stop at your station, some of them don't. You've got to make sure you read the board, make sure it stops at your station. And, you know, you got to let the ones that don't stop at your station go by. Yeah. And that's the part of getting ready, preparing yourself, getting clear about, the dating protocol and what you need to do to keep yourself together and how to go about it. Not everybody you meet is going to be interesting to
Dateable for
you,
you.
or yeah,
Yeah.
you right for you or you for them. So one of the little tips is, perfect the sort of the 2-hour date, right? So we spend too much time these days, or I know a lot of my clients do, online with them, like texting and messaging and all of this sort of stuff before we meet in person. If you get some, positive kind of sense that this might be an okay person to meet, set up a first meeting if you can, if you're not too far away, because online relationships also are a thing, but preferably within a circumference so that you two can meet, and make sure that you let them know that it's going to be time limited, 2 hours max. Ideally no alcohol, which is a challenge, because everyone's nervous, but make it in a public environment and let them know you've got something scheduled for after. It's, you won't be able to meet, stay after a certain amount of time. So, set it up as a morning coffee or an afternoon coffee or, a breakfast or something like that. It's time limited, because if it's a person who may be a reasonable fit, you'll get a sense, pretty early on. If it's a person who isn't a fit, the first 10 minutes might tell you. And then you've signed up for 2 hours and it might be too long, So it's that you got to feel it out for yourself, but set some strategies like meet earlier than spending too much time online with them, meet in person as soon as you can. And Helen Fisher talks about that. She's a evolutionary neurobiologist who studied the neurobiology of love and what happens in the brain, putting people through MRI scans and everything when they're holding the hand of their loved one and all of that. Yeah, and she identified the hormones that are, flowing through our system, all the different stages of relationship, the honeymoon stage, and, when we start getting into the difficult stages, all of the things, and how our bodies and brains are very much involved. And if you get a really strong no in that first 10 minutes, they might have been fine online, but, something about that physical meeting will tell you, you know, and Gavin de Becker's written a fantastic book of this, The Gift of Fear. Fear is hardwired into our brains and our nervous systems to warn you that somebody isn't safe. So if we have that, and it's really, we got to learn to distinguish between the difference between nervousness and anxiety about meeting somebody new and knowing that they're going to be nervous and anxious too, and the real fear charge. It's a very different charge. So recognizing that and sort of make your excuses and get the hell out of there.
Yeah, but prep in advance and say, I've got
Oh,
this much time. I
absolutely.
love that. It's just a clever system. I do that for
Oh,
business
brilliant.
calls.
Yes, yes.
It's no different. It's like, hi,
No,
I've got this much this call, time for this call. How can we maximize our time? Like,
yes, exactly.
yeah,
It's respectful of the
it's
other person,
respect.
of
Yeah.
yourself,
Mm.
you check them out a little bit. You're not just going in cold and going, oh, I wonder and I hope is this going to be Ms. or Mr. Right. So no, do some prep.
Love
Yeah,
it. I love it. Okay, so you mentioned you've got an ebook. Everyone, I will
yeah,
put a link to Vivian's website
right.
in the go to the show notes, go to below the podcast wherever you're listening to it, and you'll be able to get a direct link to Vivian's ebook so that if you are sitting there thinking, shit, I want to do that and work that out, go there, do it.
Okay,
All right.
fantastic.
Okay. So let's think about if, someone's been in a long-term relationship, because that's what can happen. A lot of women I meet in like life's nice.
Yes,
And it's like they've been in a long-term relationship, but how can people bring that fun and novelty and pleasure and stuff back to a relationship if they've been around a while and it's
yeah,
just nice and it's
yes.
more like companions than lovers and all the other bits that go with it.
Yeah, so like roommates or something, you've lost
Yeah.
the spark somehow or other. Yeah, well, I dare say this, but people come to me for three reasons, and I've written a little ebook for all those three reasons. First is I'm single, I think I want a relationship, or I'm trying, or I'm over it, but I don't like being single. So that's the first ebook. The second ebook is how you can be the lone changer, how you can change a relationship to see whether it still has some legs, whether it's still got some life in it. And it's how you can be setting yourself up again with each of these things. It's preparation to be a leader, imagine yourself like a leader, like in a work situation. If you're a manager, you ideally have help from the manager above you, the person you report to, but there's a plan about how to manage the people that will report to you. And it's about really knowing that everybody has different personalities, everybody in relationship has different needs, that you, as the sort of person who's wanting to enliven the relationship, you don't have to be right all the time. Like your partner or your partner that you've been in relationship for a long, long time, they have their valid perspective too. So how can we be a leader that can be gently inviting them to try new things, to raise their curiosity? How can you, like that saying is, be the change that you want to be or
Mm.
that you want to have in your life? Rather than expecting our partner to change, how do we change how we've been reacting to them or responding to them? How do we be more proactive and, in a way, more mature about what we want without beating them over the head?
Yeah, that's the thing. If
Yes,
if one person really wants that and wants to do the work, and it doesn't matter what kind of relationship it is, if one person really wants that
yes,
and the other person isn't really on board with it,
yes.
is there anything how does a person in that situation navigate that?
Well, again, it's the
You hit
thing
them over the
around,
head?
yeah, like, with a 4x2, that works really well. Yeah, again, it's like if we want to be the change that we are hoping to bring about in the relationship, then what do we want? We want kindness, we want patience, we want compassion, we want to try different things and give it a go, rather than expecting an instant fix. We don't change easily. Human beings, we're pretty set in our ways, right? And if a relationship has been set in its way for 10, 15, 20 or years or longer, it's not going to be a quick spin like a speedboat doing a 180 and going the other way. So I explained it. It's a little bit more like an ocean liner that's going to change its course, and it's going to be, slowly progressing in a new direction. So it's planning, doing one thing small, one thing different, and consistently. And then if that's working out well enough, do the next little small thing consistently. It's the whole thing. Like there are very similar things like in work. situation, set smart goals for yourself. Set smart goals and make it specific, measurable, attractive, and achievable, realistic, and time frame for yourself. But if you've really given it a good shot, if you've really worked hard at within a time frame, say you're in a relationship 15 years or 20 years or whatever, and you're not going to decide in 2 weeks that this is not going to work. You've got to really think about a realistic time frame, 6 months to a year, that you really try different things and you really are patient and persistent and persevering with being different and trying to initiate change and hope and what have you. And if it really hasn't worked, then you're in a much better position to be able to go, I gave it my best shot, So
Yeah, it
that's
sounds like,
important.
yeah, it's like health. People take days, weeks, months, and years to get their body
Yes.
off track. They come and see
Yes.
the poor old naturopath and think, give me a pill. And it's like, it
Yeah.
took me months and years to get off track, but I expect a result in a week. It's like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no, no. Same
No,
thing. It takes seasons to bring our body back.
very much so.
So
And that's why my initial training was naturopathy too. So, that's why I stopped
cool. I didn't
practicing.
realize you're a naturopath. You're even
Yeah,
cooler than I
well,
thought. Yeah, bloody legend.
way, yeah, way, way back. Yeah, it was in 1981 that I really became, well, I graduated as a naturopath in 1981 with some basic counseling skills. And as a naturopath,
Yeah,
that a lot of it is about counseling people, not only in their physical stuff, their lifestyle changes, dietary changes, sleep changes, but their mental and emotional changes.
huge.
So that basic counseling, naturopathic journey, it was very clear that I was always much more interested in the mental, the emotional, and the mental aspects. Yeah. And that's what took me into training into different counseling and psychotherapy modalities and stopped practicing as a naturopath because naturopathy became not so much about lifestyle changes and changing what you eat, although now it's turning around again. It became little pills. People were taking 20 pills, different supplements for this, that, and the other.
And not making
And
lifestyle changes, which is what
that's
got them
exactly,
into the place in the first place. Yeah,
yeah,
it's changed a lot.
exactly.
It's all part of why I left clinic a bunch
That's
of years
right.
ago. Yeah,
Yeah, there's
yeah,
a limit. Yeah,
there is. So I'm curious, at what kind of point, if someone has been being proactive and
yeah,
partner has not been on board with wanting
yeah,
to be receptive to what's
yeah,
possible, how
yeah.
would someone say, look, I know this chick, Vivian, who helped my mate Alice.
Right,
But yeah, how would they maybe broach, getting help
right.
for a
Yeah,
relationship? I think we need to ask that because some women
sure.
could be sitting there thinking they've done that work and think, oh,
Yeah,
give up.
yeah,
How do they
yeah.
broach that subject with their partner?
Well, that's right. So, sometimes different strokes for different folks. Some people, I mean, end up in my office or in front of my Zoom screen, because they've been dragged there by the skin of their teeth. They wouldn't come off their own bat. They
Mm.
keep saying, no matter how, unhappy they may feel or their partner have been telling them that they feel, we'll figure it out. We can work it out. We don't need to go to see somebody. I mean, I say to people, look, do you do your own dentistry? I mean, when you got a toothache, we put up with it for a little bit. You try different things, and after a while, you go, no, I need help. And when it gets to that stage where you go, look, I've tried everything that I can possibly think of and read stuff, got people help, got help for myself individually so that I can try and change my partner. So that the second little book is called The Lone Changer. Then the next step is saying, look, I'm serious about this. I'm really serious. I'm really contemplating that we're not going to work out until, or this relationship isn't going to last unless, we get some help, some expert help. Are you willing? And, if they go no straight away, then basically it's, look, I'd like you to think about this and I'll check in with you again in 48 hours. I'm serious about this.
Mm.
So it's persistent and patient and what have you. And sometimes really they, like when I'm I do a phone interview with clients before I book into an appointment, like an intake phone call. And if it is a couples appointment, I insist on speaking to both partners separately first,
Yeah.
just to check where they're at. Because when they come as a couple, just because they're there, it's no guarantee that both of them are willing to do the work, right?
No way. The masks come up instantly and the people pleasing and
Absolutely.
everything comes up, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So in that intake phone call, I'm sort of really basically ask them how, thank you for, for making the time to make this private call with me. I just want to remind you whatever you say is confidential here. Um, so I'm just needing to ask you some questions to see if I'm the right person for you to see, because the fit has to be right, right? And so the very first question I ask is, what is it that what's the outcome you're seeking if you did come to see me? And then, oh, they haven't thought about that. Oh, well, I'm coming because my partner or my, friend or whatever suggested that I should come. Okay. So, if you did come, if you and I were working together, I'd be really keen to help you to figure out what's the outcome, the end goal that you're hoping for. So if you can't kind of, if you don't have the clarity now, can I ask you 3 questions about that? And you have to answer only, you can only be in one of the camps. You can't be between the
What's
two.
the three?
Right. The 3
I am
questions are
interested.
number one, people come to me because both of them want to work on the relationship. But it's very common that one is less motivated than the other one to work on it. But if bottom line, the outcome they want is they want to see, even if it's the last ditch effort, see if they can make this relationship work, to revive it, to bring it back to life, to make it happy again, that's the first reason. Both want it to work. Okay. Number 2, and you don't have to commit for the rest of your life. You only have to commit for a specific amount of time. Make it realistic, 3 to 6 months, so that we can, and you take anyway, I'll come back to that. The second reason is they need to make a decision. Should we stay together? Should we separate? Should we have a child? Should we invest? And they can't do that without having massive arguments or avoiding the topic altogether because it's such a hot potato. And so they need a mediator. That's the second reason, a decision making. Third reason is they need help in breaking up, right? And they want to do that with the least amount of damage to each other or any dependence. Which one are you in? Well, I'm between 1 and 2. I said, remember I said you can only be one. Which one are you in? And if they are saying, I need to make a decision, and I've already spoken to their partner and their partner wants to make it work, then I say, look, as you know, I've already spoken to your partner. You are saying that you're ambivalent. You're wanting to make a decision. So are you sitting down? Because I've got to tell you, the research of 40 years has shown that if you're ambivalent about working on the relationship, couples counseling will fail. So I let them take that in. And I say, but there's another little thing that I can offer you, which is called discernment counseling. And this was developed particularly for people where one or both partners are ambivalent about being in the relationship. And it's a process called discernment counseling. And that's a very short-term thing, between 1 to 5 sessions. And the single focus of that is to help you both decide between those 3 options. Do you want to commit to trying for a time-limited period, say 3 to 6 months, to revive this relationship, to make a genuine effort to revive the relationship? Number 2, to come to a clear and confident decision to separate. Or number 3, to decide that you're not in a space yet to make a decision, so you'll be back in contact in 3 months when you're ready. So, and I give them that option. Then I send them information about discernment counseling so that they really know it's not couples counseling. We're not doing couples counseling until I get your explicit commitment to actually put a genuine effort in for 3 to 6 months. So that happens from the first phone call. So that, and a lot of couples counselors and therapists don't even know about discernment counseling. Yeah. So that's important. They go to a couples counselor, and all couples counseling models are set up with the assumption that people want to work on it. Not
Then
if one
people
is
can
ambiguous.
say they can say it on the surface. Oh yeah, 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 I'm committed,
Oh,
and no fucking way are they committed.
you've nailed it. You've
Yeah,
nailed it. They can say that on the phone call. They can
yeah.
say it. I ask them, and because I'm a coach, I set myself up in the phone call as a coach. I'll be, and my questions, part of the questions and screening is, look, my coaching approach is this. I'll be coaching you in using evidence-based skills during the sessions so that you two can actually address the difficulties that you two have together.
Mm,
I'll be coaching you in using those skills. My question is, are you willing to practice those skills in between sessions?
mm.
I call that doing homework. Are you willing to do homework? And if they go, oh, well, what's the homework like? And I say, what? We won't know until I get to meet you, but we make it so that it's manageable. Again, it's small regular steps that you take to practice the skills so that you're not just hoping that you come into the session, and my sessions for couples are 90 minutes long. And you're not just hoping that I'll wave my magic wand and make things better. My wand broke quite a few years ago, so I can't help you there. So I'm really direct up front
I
from the
love
phone.
it. But
Yeah.
being clear is everything. Then it's easier for people to feel
Yeah.
safe
Mm,
and to
mm.
make their choices.
That's right. And if they're not comfortable with the coaching approach, I've got a referral system. I'm happy
Yeah,
to refer you elsewhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
I,
So,
I love
and so
it.
the actual couples coaching is when I get discernment counseling, usually 1 to 5 sessions, and I'm helping them. It's a different process. It was set up by Bill Doherty. He, He's a professor in Minnesota, and he's been doing this for 40 years now. And as a family therapist, he found this exact problem. When you come to a couples counselor and one is ambivalent or both are, they don't even know if they want to make it work, but they think they should try. He's going, look, it's not going to work. So this is a process where over the session, I meet you both together for the first few minutes. I see you both separately for the bulk of the session, and in that time, I'm going to be asking you some questions to clarify your position about what got you to this place where
Mm,
you are.
yeah.
And then I bring you, and during that time, I help you both to construct a statement of where you currently are that you want help to communicate to your partner. And then at the end, towards the last little while of the session, I get you both together and I coach you in communicating your statements to each other and listening without having to agree. And then I'll be asking you, so where are you now? Are you wanting another discernment counseling session, or are you ready to separate? And if they're not clear, I say, fine, we'll do this process for a maximum of 4 other sessions. But if you can't decide by the 4th session, I will pull the plug, because 40 years of research has shown we can't keep doing this when one or both are
Already.
ambivalent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I love it.
Mm.
You used a word before that made me really think about Alice and I in our relationship, and
Ah,
it's the homework. Like
yeah,
in my previous relationships, and so I
yes,
had prior to Alice, I'd been in 4 really long term and more than a
right,
decade in some cases
yeah,
relationships.
yes.
When they didn't work out, I said to myself, and I was single last time, I went, what's a common denominator? I went, oh, fuck, it's me.
Oh, that's a shock. Yes.
Was. And so I sought help and
Yeah,
did some work. And Alice and I have both come into this relationship, and we even every night before we go to bed, we speak of tending to the garden of our love. That's how we
yeah,
phrase it.
lovely.
We mindfully, proactively nurture our
Yes,
relationship. And I've never done it in prior relationships. And
yeah,
gosh, that proactive stuff is amazing. So how do other couples, Alice and I have worked that out between us both.
yeah, yeah,
How,
yeah.
how can couples make that mindfully build that thriving relationship? What are some great ways?
Absolutely. Well, that's what the Gottman's 50 years of research is about. So I'm a Gottman certified therapist, and they've got, a bunch. I mean, their folders are this thick with skills, so depending where the couple are at, what they're wanting help with. But have you seen the icon, the sound relationship house that the Gottmans have got together?
No, tell me about
No.
it.
Yeah, if you Google it, it'll just sound relationship house Gottman, Gottman. You'll see the house. So what they found with their 50 years of research, with thousands of couples over these 50 years, is the sound relationship house. For a relationship to be sound enough for both people to reside in happily,
Yeah.
it has to have these 7 floors and 4 walls intact enough, right? And the first floor is, they call it building love maps. So it's to keep having a sense that you have an awareness of your partner's inner psychological world, and they have an awareness of yours, and you're willing to keep updating your love maps, right? So you check in with each other. It's learning listening skills and communication skills, listening to understand. And it also includes sexual love maps, having discussions about the sexual relationship. What's going well? What would you like more of? What would you like to not do anymore? Why not? Having non-blaming, non-shaming conversations about your own sexual template, what it is that you like and you don't like, And we're not taught how to talk about sex in relationships. So that's a big thing. So that's the first floor. The second floor is fondness and admiration. How do you two regularly put small emotional deposits, the Gottman called, into the friendship account of the relationship, giving each other fondness and admiration? And the 5 love languages is one of the skills that's not a Gottman thing, that was a Gary Chapman thing. But couples often have different love languages. They express love in very different ways. And so they share love to their partner in the way they want it to receive it, but their partner may have a very different love language, so it may not land for the partner. So teaching them, what is it that you need that to hear and feel from your partner to feel that they're fond of you and admire you, and what is it that you hear? So we have that made explicit, and do that a little bit. The Gottmans are saying 3 times a day. Yeah, every day of the week. It can be in notes, it can be in an email, it can be in verbally, it can be in lots of different ways, The next floor is turning towards each other instead of turning away from each other. So because of the way that our neurobiology is set up, if we're feeling safe enough and comfortable enough in our relationship, so we feel that our partner is our friend, and the first 3 floors of the house are the friendship floors of the sound relationship house. So that's like the foundation of a real house, a real building. If the friendship is rocky, you don't go about renovating the kitchen and the bathroom first. You've got to start with the foundations, right? So when we feel safe towards our partner, we have enough regular emotional deposits in the bank account. So we're basically updating our love maps, we're chatting, we're expressing fondness and admiration. And most of the time when our partner with this 3rd floor makes a bid for connection or a bid for attention from us, like, hey, if there's enough of a friendship there, we go, what? It could be just a minimal turning toward, but they found that couples fall into 3 categories: those who turn towards, those who turn away from those bids of connection or attention, or those who turn against their partner. Oh, not again. You always do that.
Yeah.
So we're identifying this in the couple. That's the foundation. That's the friendship floor. Now, if the friendship floors are solid enough in their sound relationship house, the 4th floor is healthy. It's called the positive perspective or the negative perspective. So if enough emotional deposits are being regularly put in,
Yep.
physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, whatever it is that the couple needs and wants, then when a disconnect happens between them, and it happens all of us multiple times a day,
Yep.
we've got enough reserves in the bank account, the emotional bank account, so you cut your partner slack. Oh, are you okay, darling? What's up? Have you had a bad day? If we have if the bank deposit is low, we go, you always, you never, this always happens. I didn't sign up for this. This is boring. I'm out of here. That's the negative perspective, right? So that's the first 4 flaws. And there's 3 more and 2 walls. So any questions so far about
No,
the
it
house?
all makes sense. And that strong foundation, that's
Very
everything.
strong foundation. Yes. And so
Everything.
what you're doing about the nightly little rituals. So
Yeah.
these are one of the skills, the Gottman's call, every single couples therapy methodology has their own names for the
Yeah.
skills and the what have you. But the Gottmans call it, either a stress reducing conversation at the end of the day, so that you turn towards your partner to reduce the stress outside the relationship.
Yeah.
And so your partner is the first person you turn to reduce the stress, not the second, third, or last person. And so they have found with their research that couples who turn towards each other and are managing stress effectively about external things vaccinate their own relationship against stress, the relationship stress when it comes up. So they've got a backstop. So stress reducing, gratitude, fondness and admiration exercise, like you two
Yeah.
sound like you do at night,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
It's so mindful. And the love languages, we're both into touch.
Yes.
We
Oh, lovely.
really mindful. Yeah, it's like,
Yes.
but really
Yeah, you've got the
mindfully work
same
on
love
it.
language. That's rare. Yeah.
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 Both really mindfully do.
Mindful. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So wow, that's a whole nother subject on its own, that
yeah.
house.
Yeah. And so the other flaws, fifth law is managing conflict. How do you manage conflict? So there's lots of conflict management skills and negotiation compromise skills. The sixth flaw is supporting each other's life goals, life dreams, not related to the relationship.
Mm.
So Alice is into surfing. If you're not into surfing, you might want to spend more time with Alice. She wants to go surfing because the surf's up. How do you manage that?
Yeah.
Some couples have World War III about it every day.
No, I
So,
knew I had to marry a surfer because I'm a surfer as well. We met in the surf.
is that right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, okay. Well, there
Crazy,
you
hey?
go. So that's not a beef. So
No.
that's a sixth flaw. The seventh flaw is shared meaning, having a shared understanding about it's like the attic of the house, and it has 4 aspects: the symbols of the relationship, what money means, what sex means, what home means, what work means, so that you have a shared understanding. The second is, I've got it, not the right order, rituals of connection, little rituals that you build in, like having a cup of tea together or
Yeah.
sharing a meal together, talking about your day together. The third is rituals of connection. What have I got? I've got here roles, an agreement about the roles, what roles you each play as mother, daughter, sister, cousin, aunt, all of these other roles, the demands on our life outside of the relationship. Do we have an understanding and a good enough agreement that your partner isn't going to be with you 100% of the time, all the time?
Yeah.
And then the symbols of the relationship, what certain things mean. Yeah. So, and
Mm.
then the 2 walls are commitment. How committed are they to each other? And trust. So without trust or commitment, you got no walls on your house. Things blow in and out. Different people walk in and out. So, and the 50 years of research has gone behind that. So they've got skills for every one of those walls, except for the 4th floor, the positive perspective. And each of the floors and walls have skills, but I've just been pulling from over the decades all the different trainings, and I will mix and match the skills according to who the people are, what they say they want, using feedback informed treatment approach. What is it that you're looking for? How can I help you? What's tried already? What hasn't worked? Where do you get stuck? Is this making sense to you? Do you want more of this, less of this? Please let me know, so that you, as the client, is guiding the therapy, not me trying to make you fit, into my way of working.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Love it. And that's a huge structure.
Mm.
Um, so I'm
So,
curious, what haven't we talked about so far today? What's an important thing we haven't talked about yet?
Well, we haven't talked
Yes.
about sex, which is hugely
I know, but
important.
sex, I want to get you back to talk just about sex. Do you want to let's tease people about sex right now. If you're up for it, I'd like to do a whole episode just on sex.
Happy to,
Let's
sure,
tease, come on,
sure,
tease
sure.
us about sex first. But I promise everyone
Wow.
I'll get Vivian back another day to know soon to do
Okay,
another episode.
okay.
Come on, tease them. Tease us all
The
about
number
sex.
one presenting issue about sex in couples
Yes.
is desire discrepancy. One wants it more than the other.
Mm.
Yeah. And how do you deal with that, right? So there's a whole lot of science behind that already. So the first thing to understand, and this is just a little thumbnail sketch, is, if you can't figure out the desire discrepancy that you have about everything else in the relationship, you're not going to figure it out about sex. So you're different people. One wants more time together, one wants less time. One wants to save more, one wants to spend more. One wants to spend more time with friends, one wants less. One wants to spend more time with extended family, one wants less. The list goes on and on. You're different people. If you haven't figured out how to negotiate and compromise about that, we come to a screeching halt about sex. And so we're in a power struggle. One's always initiating, one's always refusing because they don't know how to. And so we call that the power struggle in sex. And all the research has shown that when we're stuck in a power struggle about whether we're going to have sex or we're not going to have sex, not having sex always wins. So couples present, they haven't had sex for months, years, decades. I've had couples who haven't had sex for decades. So there's ways of working through that to see, do you want this or not? One may be asexual. It's rare, but they are asexual people, right? So they just have different desires. So you have to educate about desire is the single most easy thing to derail sexual desire. So we don't understand that.
Wow. Well, we promise me you'll come back and play again so we can dig down in desire and all the other things about sex. Because that's it when it's not spoken about. And
It's
yet
not.
it's such an important topic.
It sure is. And then you have all of these magazines,
Yeah.
how to have hot sex, how to, turn your partner on, how to, it's like you haven't got back to, is this what you want or what do you want? You're trying to fix it before knowing what the problem actually is.
Mm.
So you're fixing the wrong problem.
All right. We're going to get you back. Excited
Okay.
for that one.
Okay.
All right.
I've
Think about. Okay.
just written my latest blog is about that. Why is
Is
it
it?
hard to talk about sex? Yeah.
All right. So people can follow you on Facebook.
I don't put my blog. Oh, I do
Where
put
does
my blog.
your blog on your
I
website?
I do. It's on the website, but I also put it on my professional Facebook page. Yes, thank you, and my LinkedIn page. So yeah, the last one was why is it hard to talk about sex? Well, there's at least six reasons which are written there. So.
Okay. Well, as soon as you finish listening to this podcast, look below where you've listened to it, and the link will be there, so you can click through to Vivian's website, and you can absolutely check out that blog. Cool. Done. All right. Winding up on this segment, relationships. I'm curious. Think about being like what I call the present day wise woman. Being a wise woman today. What do you think that means?
Oh God, how do I answer that?
Oh, I thought I'd throw it in to see what you said.
Exactly. I know. Look, I think there's so many different ways to be wise. Yeah, so many different ways to be wise. So for me, there's something about walking the walk, not just talking the talk. It's about living what you've learned, and usually I suppose wise women have learned through difficulties in their own life, like they've been tested and tried through life and come through it, and it's made them stronger and wiser, sometimes broken them open, and so whole new bits of them or cells come out, so there's something about applied wisdom and wisdom that's been earned, rather than, being able to mouth platitudes that sound good, sound bites that, grab people's attention, go, oh, that's cool, no, where's the depth? Where's the lived experience behind it, I think. I
And
don't know, off the top of my head, that's what
no,
I
I love
find.
it. I think you're
Yeah,
right, because it's easy to wave a flag and go, hoo, I'm wise, versus
yeah,
it's our battle scars that make us wise.
yeah, yeah,
Very
yeah, absolutely.
awesome. Thank
And
you.
you've probably found this too in your work, Jen. You meet people, you've had clients, and, they get a lot out of what they do with you. And then the next moment is they're setting up a blog and they're teaching
Oh,
what you taught them. And it's like, hello, you've been doing this for about 3 minutes
I
and
know.
you're an expert. You're a wise person about this. I don't think so.
Even with this podcast, I've been approached already by so many 20, 30-year-old women who want to be
Right.
on the podcast
Right.
to share their wisdom. And I think, great, I love your balls. That's cool.
Yes.
And for what I want out of this podcast is to work with
Yeah.
older women who have
Yeah.
the last, 40 years, 60 years
Yeah. Yeah.
plus a life
Sure.
experience. That's the wisdom.
Sure.
I want to tap into the true old
Exactly.
elder
Yeah.
elder knowledge.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a nice way of putting it. Elder knowledge.
Elder
Yes.
knowledge, elder
But
wisdom. Yeah.
as you know, not every old person is wise either.
Oh,
So
no, no.
the years don't necessarily mean wisdom. Yeah.
No, no.
Yeah.
I promise with all my heart, I really, think deeply about who I want to have on this podcast,
Right. Yeah.
because I work with so many women, as you do, and it's like
Yeah.
I want, good-hearted kind of wisdom to come
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
And no fucking
Yeah.
bullshit.
That's right.
Just be true.
Reality. Yeah, look,
Yeah.
life is hard. Life can have hard moments or hard months or years. And, if you think you can just skate over the top, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I agree. Vivian
Yeah.
Baruch, if you could go back to your 18-year-old self and give
Yes.
her a piece of wisdom from
Uh,
with the wisdom you have nowadays, what would you say?
yeah. I'd say you're okay. You're enough. Yeah. You're enough. Back then, I was not enough. I wasn't good enough, smart enough, this enough, that enough. And yeah, it causes, maybe it's just the maturation process we have to go through. But yeah, I was looking back at that insecure, unself-confident 18-year-old me. I
Mm.
have a lot of compassion for her, and I go, if I would have had a wise woman, it would have
Oh,
been lovely, wouldn't it? Yeah.
same. That's why I'm so deeply passionate about getting
Yes.
women to shine their wisdom so that the younger women who come behind us, because I didn't have it and I
Exactly.
hungered for it.
Yes,
So
exactly.
this is why it's a big, deep calling for me to look up
Yeah,
women who come behind us.
it's lovely what you're doing, Jen.
Oh,
So,
thanks,
yeah,
Vivian. Thank
keep
you for
at
being
it.
part of it.
Oh,
I've loved today, and like I say, you thank you for being part of my marriage. I'm incredibly
oh,
happy, and,
yeah,
and Alice
yeah.
totally thinks your praise is the right way.
I'm just so happy that you're both so happy and that she did the work. I mean, she's one of these people who did the homework. I was saying, I'm a coach, this is how I work. Yep, I'm up for it. And she'd already done so much work,
Yeah,
and, her own individual work and individual therapy. So she was just right for you.
yeah.
So that's
Thank you.
fantastic.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your wisdoms you've shared today. I look forward to having you back really
Great.
soon to talk about sex,
Okay.
because it's so
Okay.
needed. Thank you for your time today.
My pleasure.
I have utmost respect and
Oh,
gratitude for your time.
oh, thank you. And likewise, thank you so much for asking me on.
Thanks, Vivian.
Yeah. Bye.